I'm Firebug with 2 eyes. Kind of. And this video is made in support of my cat, Mango. Mango is a very cuddly and vocal orange cat. He loves going outside and scratches on his chin. He's very clingy. He likes to follow me all around the house, which is kind of difficult sometimes because he also likes to chew on wire. He's usually very active and playful, but a few weeks ago, he seemed to lose his energy and he started limping. Any pressure or hinge on his hips seemed to be very painful. So we took him to the vet for some x-rays, and it turns out that he has bilateral slipped capital femoral epiphysis. Basically, there's something wrong with his femur head, so it keeps on falling out of the hip joint. The vet recommended a femoral head ostectomy, or FHO for short. In this surgery, the femoral head is removed and the socket is left empty. The leg muscles will hold the bones in place, and over time, scar tissue will fill the socket, forming a new joint, which is crazy. I don't understand how that works, but that's what the vet said. Then the vet told us that the price of the surgery was going to be roughly $3,500 each leg. Mind you, I had already dropped $1,000 just for the x-ray. I don't have that money. So right now we're just saving money for his leg surgery as soon as we can. If you wanted to help out, there's going to be a GoFundMe link in the description. I really don't expect to hit the goal on GoFundMe, but really anything helps. And if you can't donate, just watching this video and commenting is going to help, because any money I get from this video is going to go to Mango. So yeah, that's everything. I hope you enjoy the video. So I'm admitting my crimes to cheating in artfight. How did I cheat? Did I start my attacks early? No. Did I do ridiculously big mass attacks? No. Did I use AI on any of my attacks? No. Oh my god. I'll tell you what I did. I used artfight to get out of my art block. That's not really cheating. That's right. I joined artfight with no intentions of getting my team points and only started to get myself out of a rut. Go on. Arrest me. But before you do, let me explain. So, a lot has happened in the last year. I got a job, I've moved out on my own, I got a drawing tablet, and I'm also moving into Clip Studio Paint. And apparently, the combination of these things have made it so I don't draw anything ever. The job and house thing are kind of self-explanatory. I'll work long and hard hours at my job just to come home and feel too tired to do anything. But I didn't expect it to be so hard to move my drawings to my PC. Before, I used to use my iPad and Procreate to just draw wherever I wanted. I don't want to get out of bed? That's fine. My drawings are in bed too. But now I have a tablet connected to my PC, and I can't really move that around. And the move from Procreate to Clip Studio Paint was so much harder than I thought it was gonna be. I could have still used my iPad, but I've been fighting with it a lot more recently. She's about 5 years old, and that's about the lifespan of Apple products these days. It ran out of storage a lot, so I would have to go through and delete a bunch of other drawings in order to make space for this new one. It's the only Apple product that I have, and Apple loves to make it very hard for you to mix different brands. I'm not sure if this is only me, but
apparently, if you try to send a transparent background PNG to something that's not Apple, it will just make the background white. So this whole time, when I was trying to do commissions and I sent a transparent background version of it, it just had a white background this whole time. I didn't even know. I only found out later when I tried to email something to myself so that I could use it on my computer.
So if you've ever commissioned me and that was a problem, I'm sorry. I did not know. I needed to move from iPad. I had no choice. And I had the money to afford a drawing tablet, so I figured I should just do it. And since I was moving to drawing on a computer, using Clip Studio Paint was kind of a no-brainer. I've used it before and I already like it. I figured it'll just be easy. I already know what to do. I finally sat down at my new setup and I needed to get used to it again. But I've been through this before, over and over again. Every time you learn a new program, you just have to do it. That's the only way that you're gonna get better at it. But even though I knew that, I didn't draw for like a year. I was just too busy and honestly intimidated. But then July came around and I saw other artists post about joining artfight. And I felt kind of bad, kind of like a loser, kind of like a failure because I hadn't gotten good at my new setup in time to join artfight. But a few days went by and I just kept feeling worse and worse about it, and I knew that I had to join, even if I didn't announce it or anything. I decided that I was joining artfight not for the love of the game, not for the competition, but just to get me drawing again. I know, I'm completely selfish. So I started late. I started by bookmarking all the characters I wanted to do. And I thought it would be cool to only do Cyclopses, just because I don't see a lot of Cyclops OCs. And with my list of roughly 20 characters, I started drawing. My first attack was on Simon Peach, on their character Diana. They didn't have any references for their colors, so I kind of just went with a monochromatic scheme, and I hope that's okay. The whole drawing, I was kind of just watching my own rendering tutorial that I made, and I was mostly just trying to figure out some brushes that I actually liked. In the end, I submitted this. And I like it. I think it's pretty cool, but I can definitely tell that I was figuring things out. The next character I tagged was Serafina by artist Belicious. I remember choosing their character because I thought it was very cute and I really liked the color palette. And in this drawing, I already felt an improvement. I already felt a lot more comfortable with some of the brushes, and I can just tell with the end result. It's still a bit messy, but I thought it was cleaner than the last one. And they ended up liking it too and even revenged me. The next character I tagged was Aurelia by Starry_Yui. And for this attack, I found a brush that had like a watercolor edge, and I sketched with it. And I guess I had so much fun with it that my sketch looked really cool. And because of that, my liner ended up being really clean as well. And after that, I kind of airbrushed all the colors in and did really minimal rendering, just kind of in the places that I felt like it really needed it. It ended up looking really simple and cute, I think. And I think they liked it too. My next attack was on the character Flux by user Zoro the Silly. I chose this character because I really liked their vibe and aesthetic, but when I got down to drawing them, it was kind of hard actually. I was forced into a more cartoony style just because when I started drawing them, I realized that I couldn't really get a handle on what their forms were, like what the planes of their face were. It was just kind of like a round, vague idea. Like they were kind of a cat creature, but I don't think they had any fur. And was their skin like more rough, or was their skin more smooth like a dolphin? I didn't know. And because I didn't want to make those choices, I had to just go more cartoony. I went with thicker line art and more flat colors, and their character permission said that you could change their outfit, so I decided just to change their shirt a bit into a plastic bag. And in the end, I had this, and I really like it. The next person I attacked was Spring Dove's character, Dove. In this speed paint, you can probably see that I actually had a few sketches before I ended up with the regular schmegular 3/4 view bust angle. I guess I wanted to experiment more, but I ended up just backing down. But that's okay though, because I ended up with a drawing that looks really soft and pretty. I think it's really cute. I used some more textured brushes. And this is what I ended up with. The next character that I attacked was Toast by Claudian_. I chose this character because I really loved that they were super simple and cartoony, and I very intentionally wanted to make a very realistic drawing of them. I ended up needing to learn the Clip Studio 3D model pose tool in order to make this one, but I think I got a little bit too ambitious because in the end I ended up having a really scribbly looking drawing. It took me like 3 days to do, but in the end I still had a drawing that was super scratchy, I guess. Still good though, and I think they like it. The next character I ended up drawing was Perry by Laura the EP. And what can I say? I see a buff woman, I draw a buff woman. There's nothing else I could really do about that. You know how it is. In this drawing I ended up using the lasso fill tool for basically the whole drawing, and I'm pretty comfortable with the lasso fill tool, so it turned out pretty good, I think. My next attack was on the character Looks Like Rain by Daisy Maisie. I thought their character looked really cute and sweet, and I wanted to make kind of a Pikmin-esque kind of drawing of them. I originally wanted them to be kind of a small little critter in a big environment, but ended up being a little too much for me. I'm already bad at backgrounds, so it's better if we do one thing at a time. The next character that I attacked was Eyeball by Arts. And this character ended up being really hard for me for some reason. I think this one, it was just like the shape of the head. I also felt like I was doing the same pose and eyeball over and over again, but there's only so many ways you can draw an eyeball. I eventually settled on like a half body pose, and I ended up rendering it a lot. When I first finished the drawing, I thought maybe I rendered it too much, but after giving it a day, I looked back and I actually like it a lot. My next attack was on Candy by Mix Flowers. I ended up having similar problems with this drawing just because I felt like I was drawing the same face and same eyeball over and over again. I still ended up experimenting more with the brush settings and with the distortion modes for the background. In the end, I think I pulled through and they ended up liking it anyway, so. The next character I attacked was Eyeball by Sexy Crafter. At this point, I realized that I was kind of doing the same thing over and over again, and I wanted to do something different. So I got a few references of the pose and of other artists that I like to see what kind of elements I can grab from those. And I ended up having a lot more of a colorful background and a lot more colorful rendering. I tried some halftone brushes and a bunch of different textures. This was actually one of the drawings that I felt like I was actually improving in. I didn't feel like I was just messing around with a bunch of settings for no reason, even though I was messing around with a bunch of settings for no reason. The decisions I was making just felt more intentional, I guess. I felt like in this drawing, I was able to replicate the rendering that I did in a drawing I was really proud of from my iPad, so that was really exciting. The next character I attacked was Sai from Latchlock, and for this one, I actually don't have a speed paint for it. I'm not sure what happened. I think maybe I just drew this in one sitting, so I didn't even save a single time. So I never really saved the file. It's just the PNG. So this is how it looks. This is it finished. I think they look cool. They're just taking like a selfie. The next character I attacked was Jilligan by Jack Devlin Emmerich. When I first saw this character, it really caught my eye that they were using a 3D model as their reference, and I guess I was just inspired to replicate that kind of style. In the end, I submitted a drawing that I really like, but I wish I worked on a little bit longer. I think I was just running out of time. The next character I attacked was Goo by Boonickel, but I also don't have the speed paint for this one. I'm not sure if I saved the project to the wrong file or what, or if I even saved it at all. All I have is the finished drawing, and I couldn't export the speed paint. I don't know. But I am sad about it because I do like this drawing a lot. I thought they looked very nice. We're close to the end now, guys. Come on. The next character I attacked was Snakes by Cupid Caribou _. And this one was really exciting to me because I've never seen a Cyclops furry before. And I guess that excitement kind of just motivated me the whole time because I really like this drawing. And they like it too, so this is a win for sure. The next character I attacked was Magic Eyeball Guy by Canada Goose. And I guess the win from the last drawing made me a little bit too confident because on this one, for some reason, I decided I wanted to try photo bashing. I'm realizing now that I'm not even sure if I really know what photo bashing is, but for this, I just ended up getting a bunch of different textures and pictures that I thought looked cool and putting them over different parts of the drawing. Like, I think I used an onion for the staff, and that gave it kind of a cool, grainy look. But yeah, I put those textures on different layer modes to give it cooler colors. And when it got to a point where I just combined all of the layers together and rendered on top of it. When I first finished this drawing, I actually didn't really like it, but I was running out of time, so I submitted it anyway. After a day or so though, I looked back on it and I think it's one of my favorites. So it was here when I realized that it was actually the last day of art fight and I got out of work late and I didn't have any more time. I had 2 more characters that I had to attack in like 10 hours and I had to be asleep for like 4 or 5 of those hours at least. And I could have just decided to call it there, but I was really excited for these last 2 characters. I was basically saving them for last. So I ended up drawing them anyway. This is the character Wiz by Quinn_Pin. So yeah, I really like this character. I think they're really cute. They're like a little jester guy. I decided to put them inside of a jack-in-a-box kind of thing. I think I worked way too hard on this character for the amount of time that I actually had. I did not need to render that eye as much as I did. It's like kind of distracting actually, just comparing the eye to the rest of the drawing, but I finished them and they look like this. The last character I had to draw was Mariana by Orange_Soda5_6. And I don't know why this drawing just spoke to me for some reason. I think that this was the only eyeball character that I saw with like the eyelids still attached and some eyelashes, and something about that, I just liked it. I don't know. But the only reference that they had was really light and it didn't have any color palette on there for me to reference. So I just made mine black and white as well. I decided to go with a more sketchy kind of vibe just because I had to be awake the next day at 3 a.m. I think I finished the sketch in like 30 or 40 minutes and I wanted to make it look more interesting, so I added some chromatic aberration, the border around it, the shadow and everything. And with that drawing finished, that ended up being 18 drawings I made for Art Fight this year. And it might not seem a lot because last year I did like 50, but it's still a lot for me considering I haven't drawn in like a year. Now all that was left to do was make a video about it. So, for some unspecific and generic reasons, I am no longer able to use Premiere Pro. And although it's really annoying, it's a really perfect time for me to learn DaVinci Resolve. I didn't know how to use Premiere anyway, I just let my boyfriend do it the whole time. But this video is gonna be made 100% by me. I went a little bit crazy, to be honest. I made myself a looping background, and then I decided that I didn't like it, and I made myself another looping background. I used the Fusion tab to make an animation of iGirl drawing. I made a little PNG tour of iGirl girl for some reason. I don't know why I did that actually. Basically every element on the screen right now I made. I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm just really proud of it, okay? And I think I gotta be honest with you guys. I don't think I cheated in art fight. That was a joke, alright? I'm sorry. In fact, all of this has just been an excuse. Joining art fight to get better at Clip Studio Paint, making this video so I could learn how to use DaVinci Resolve. I'm just procrastinating my ladybug redesign video. I'm sorry, I know I said that the next video was gonna be the ladybug video. I've just been procrastinating so much because of perfectionism. I didn't want to learn Clip Studio Paint and learn DaVinci Resolve in my miraculous video. I'm not trying to hype up that video at all. It is going to just be a redesign video in the end, but I really want it to be good, okay? So this video was basically just an excuse for me to practice everything. I'm feeling pretty confident though. Like, I'm gonna start the next video as soon as this one's published, I promise. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. If you wanted to help out with Mango's leg surgery, then please check the GoFundMe in the description. And even if you can't donate, getting this far in the video is help enough. Thank you. I love you. Bye!